We are literally 1 day away from the 2024 NFL Draft. And man, I am getting excited as the Titans have the number 7 overall pick. And here on Titans Today, it's time for a final mock draft. I'm your host, Jace Andrews, and make sure you are subscribed and turn on those notifications because when the Titans make their draft pick at number 7, we're going to make sure to have you covered with videos, news, everything related to it. If it's Joe Alt, we'll get you there. If it's somebody else, guess what? We'll have a video just the same. So hit that subscribe button. Make sure you have your notifications on as well. That way you never miss a video all throughout draft weekend. I mentioned it, final mock draft time here on Titans Today. Obviously, we've got 1 day left, and so I think it's time that we just kind of circle back and hopefully I get my best mock draft because, well, there's no more news or rumors after today. It's what's going to happen. Let's look at the draft picks that the Titans currently possess. This could change, obviously, tomorrow. There's draft trades. There's things that could happen, and I know that Ran Carthon is a busy man as we speak. Now, the Titans currently possess their own first, second, and fourth round picks. They traded away their third round pick last year to move up for Will Levis. They have the round 5 pick from Minnesota, their own round 6 pick, and then 2 round 7 picks, one from Philadelphia in the Kevin Byard trade, and then one from Kansas City in the L'Jarius Sneed trade. And so you've got 7 picks total in the 2024 NFL Draft. And all I can say is let's get started because, man, I'm excited for the draft. And, man, mock drafts can do a lot, but I just want it the real thing, and I want it real bad. All right, let's go with round 1, pick number 7 being Joe Alt. I know, it's getting repetitive, it's getting annoying, but at the same time, it's the right pick. It's the guy that the Titans want to get. And honestly, it's the guy that can come in and make an immediate impact. We've heard Ran Carthon say he wants guys that when you draft them in the top 10 will come in and make an immediate impact. Joe Alt will do that. His PFF ranking was insane. His stats all throughout his time at Notre Dame are all great. And these are things we have been talking about consistently for almost 2 months now. Actually, probably over 2 months now. But it's not just his stats. It's his intangibles. He is the 99th percentile in offensive tackles in basically every single category. The only thing that is good, not great, is his vertical, which, I don't know about you, not really looking for my offensive tackles to be good jumpers. That's just not what I'm looking for. But everything else is shuttle, 3-cone drill, 40-yard dash, 20-yard split, 10-yard split. Everything is top tier. He is, of the word, elite. And I think that is exactly why the Tennessee Titans have to go get him. He's the obvious choice. If he's there at 7 and you do not pick him, I don't know what you are doing. You know the offensive line struggles you have. You know that last year, a big problem with Ryan Tannehill and Will Levis is protection. Guess what? You got Lloyd Cushenberry. You have Peter Skoronski in the second year. And I think Joe Alt could be an all-pro in his first season. Do you want the Titans to draft Joe Alt, or is it something that maybe you're not too high on as I am? Well, let me know down in the comment section down below. Type Y for yes if you want them to draft Joe Alt. Type in for no if you do not want them to draft Joe Alt. Let's go to round 2, pick number 38. Not going wide receiver. I'm going JerZhan Newton, the defensive lineman from Illinois. And why I went with this was, well, you kind of need the help on the D-line. I hate to say it, but over the past couple days, I've kind of become more and more of I need help on D-line more than I do in the wide receiver room. I love Jeffrey Simmons. I think he's probably the second best defensive tackle in the entire NFL. But besides that, I don't know if I trust the other two. Sebastian Joseph-Day, great addition. I like it, not bad. Keontae Coburn was a practice squad guy last year, and I continuously say that because I don't want a starter on my team being a guy who was on the practice squad last year. JerZhan Newton, guess what? You stick him right there, you're good. He's been solid through Illinois and his entire career there. His pressures reached a peak in 2022 at 59, but then this past year, he got 7.5 sacks. You see his sack numbers going up by 2 every single year. His tackle numbers pretty solid, tackle for loss numbers. I mean, these past 2 seasons, he has done some great things. And I think the bigger thing behind this pick is there's been people who have labeled JerZhan Newton as a potential fringe first-round guy. And so if you are able to get him here at pick number 38, not only are you going to be able to see this and think, okay, we got a guy who is a first-round asset in the second round, but you're helping your defensive line, which is very much a place where you need the help. And I think that is something that Ran Carthon has to value. As much as we all want to see a wide receiver, you got to value positions of need. And I honestly think at this point, defensive line takes the cake instead of wide receiver. You know what also takes the cake? Game time. You can get $20 off your first purchase by using code at ChatSports. And guess what? Game Time is your place to go for all sorts of events. They've got sports, they've got music, they've got comedy, they've got theater, everything you want right there with flash deals, zone deals, last-minute tickets, the lowest price guaranteed. And on top of which, we know what's going on in the hockey world. The Preds taking on the Canucks. Game 3 coming up. You can get your tickets right now on Game Time and use that code ChatSports for $20 off your first purchase. All you got to do is download the app and then create an account. Super easy to use. You can see all the prices right here. The yellow are those flash deals. You got the zone deals all over the place. You got the cheapest ticket being labeled. It's really the simplest way to get your tickets. I use it all the time, and I've gotten tickets literally in less than 2 minutes and less than 2 taps. Once again, you can use this code right here, ChatSports, for $20 off your first purchase. I promise you will not regret it. Go download the Game Time app and create that account. We'll have the link in the comments and the description of this video. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. All right, round 4, pick 106. Jamari Thrash, the wide receiver out of Louisville. This is where I went wide receiver, and I honestly love this pick. I know that the vast majority of you are probably a little upset that I didn't go wide receiver in round 2 because the Titans don't have a round 3 pick, so you're waiting until round 4. But I would label Jamari Thrash as a round 3 guy that is in round 4. Because of the depth of wide receiver we are seeing in this year's draft, you're going to get that in a lot of wide receivers. Thrash in the past 2 seasons at Louisville played exceptional, his last season at Louisville and then previously at Georgia State, had over 1,000 yards at Georgia State before then transferring and having 848 yards in Louisville. And honestly, we all saw him play in that ACC championship game with the rotating quarterback. Guess what? He actually didn't play too bad with having nobody throwing the ball to him. Did have 8 drops. That was the problem at Georgia State as well, had 4 there. So I think that's where the question mark with this guy comes in is, can he hold on to the football? Because when your drops numbers are around the same as your touchdown numbers, that's not exactly a good thing. But he's consistent, 60 receptions in each year. And I think he's the perfect wide receiver number 3 here because you look at it. DeAndre Hopkins and Calvin Ridley. Those are easily wide receivers 1 and wide receiver 2. Burks, Westbrook, Keenan, Kyle Phillips. I've said it many times and I'll say it again. Those are wide receiver 4s in my mind right now. Could they be wide receiver 3s? Yes. But am I willing to put all my money on them to be the wide receiver 3 for the Titans? No. Thrash is the perfect one. He's the one you can go draft. You can put him in right away. And I think he is literally the key guy. Because if you think about it, what you are looking for in a wide receiver 3 is different than wide receivers 1 and 2. Hopkins is going to go deep. That's what it's going to do. Calvin Ridley, going to go deep, going to have the under routes. Thrash is able to make plays in space, to be quite frank. And that's exactly what the Titans would want to have their wide receiver 3 do. That's what they tried to do with Treylon Burks, and it just didn't work. And now, get Thrash, put him in there, and hey, there you freaking go. If you're looking for draft coverage here on YouTube, you can look no place further because we've got you covered on our main channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. We're going to be live for all 7 rounds. You can see yours truly on day 1. I'll be there, so make sure you come hang out with me, hang out with Sam Brown, one of our amazing producers, and I promise you, we're going to have one of the best times on YouTube, and you're going to get to see every single pick with analysis, breakdowns, and everything you need to know about picks 1 through picks 252. We got you covered. So go down there, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Go check us out. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe to that channel as well because you're not going to regret it. Let's go to round 5 here with pick number 146. I'm going to go edge rusher with Gabriel Murphy from UCLA. I've mentioned him before once on this channel, and I think I like what I've seen from him because I'm one of those guys. It's the same thing with Adisa Isaac. You have Chop Robinson on that defense as well, and so you kind of get overshadowed. Laitu Latu is also with Gabriel Murphy, so you kind of get overshadowed in my opinion. Not saying that Gabriel Murphy is going to be as good as those 2 that I mentioned, but he's not going to be bad. And round 5 picker, it's not bad at all. 38 tackles, 16 tackles for loss, 8 sacks, 21 pressures, and 2 pass breakups. Or excuse me, 61 pressures. My apologies. It's just really, really a solid guy. And I think, again, I say this a lot, and I know that maybe it's not the easiest thing to say, but being able to see somebody in college go from a lower level school and then transfer to a high level school and not miss a beat is something I value. Gabriel Murphy did just that by going from North Texas to UCLA. Because if you can do that in the college level, you're going to have a little bit of an easier time doing it from college to NFL. Now, I know that's a completely different change of scenery, and obviously it's a completely different level of play. But the ability to go in and change basically a lot with a more formidable team, that's a pretty good thing. Now, if you're pumped for the Titans and their draft choices coming up over the next couple days, hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. And guess what? The more likes we get, the more Titans videos we're allowed to do. So it's honestly kind of up to y'all at this point. If you want more Titans content, just like the video. It takes 2 seconds, and that way the bosses will let me do more and more. So hit that like button. Let's go to round 6, pick number 182. Kamal Haden, the cornerback from Tennessee. I've had him on here once before as well, and I know that people continuously ask me, Jace, why are we getting cornerbacks? Isn't our cornerback room really solid? Yes, it is. Chidobe Awuzie, L'Jarius Sneed, and Roger McCreary is one of the better quarterback rooms I think the NFL can have. I like Caleb Farley. I know he's had the injury proneness, but it's looking like he might actually play this year. I don't know. We'll have to see. I just want some more depth, and I know that that is something that is a little bit hard to think about, especially in the draft in a team that did not produce last year. But I think because of the moves that Ran Carthon has made this offseason, getting Chidobe Awuzie, getting L'Jarius Sneed, getting Calvin Ridley, you're able to, in the later parts of the draft, look for depth. Because in the same sense, you're just throwing darts at a board hoping you hit one. And so if you get this one, cool. He can play a little bit. And if not, you got a depth piece for a little bit. And I think that's exactly what the Titans could use at this time. Round 7, pick number 242. I'm going to the linebacker, Jaylan Ford. Ford's an interesting pick to me, but I think he was the best player available in a position of somewhat need for the Titans here at this round 7, pick 242. And as I mentioned, you're kind of just throwing picks out there and hope you hit if they do draft somebody like this. Or, so we'll see if the number 242 pick even stays on whichever roster. So he played well. I mean, look at his stats. It's not anything bad by any stretch of the imagination for a Texas squad that made it to the college football playoff. It's pretty dang good, I think. 101 tackles for loss. 10.5 tackles for loss, 101 tackles, 2 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. I mean, it's one thing to be in here and maybe be in round 7 and not have the stats that you can kind of backtrack it, but he has the stats. And I think that you have to kind of think about it as linebacker is a position that you're pretty filled on, but an extra guy that could potentially come in and maybe play down the stretch, not a bad thing to have. Then round 7, I'm going offensive guard in Delmar Glaze, from Maryland. Now, he is going to be an offensive guard in the NFL. He was an offensive tackle in college, and I think that this is where you can kind of have somewhat of an idea of he's flexible. Now, I know that people say, well, he'll do whatever in the NFL. We've seen top prospects go and change their entire position, but it's nice to have somebody who is flexible, especially that late in the season, because you put him on the practice squad and he can come in and play tackle or guard if any injuries were to happen to any Titans players. All right, let's go through this draft one last time on my final Tennessee Titans mock draft. Joe Alt is my round 1, pick number 7, the obvious choice. JerZhan Newton, round 2, pick 38. I think defensive line just needs more help than wide receiver. I still do go wide receiver in round 4, though, with Jamari Thrash, one of my favorite picks of this mock draft. Gabriel Murphy at round 5, the edge from UCLA. I think he can provide a really good speed numbers on the left or right side. Kamal Haden, just a good depth piece. Jaylan Ford and Delmar Glaze all going to be in this mock draft as well. You've seen my picks. You've seen a lot of my mock drafts, and you've been watching for a while. You know how I value my positions and the team. So grade my mock draft here for one final time. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down in the comment section. A being great, F being fail, C being average, B and D in between. We do appreciate you hanging out with us here on Titans today, and I hope you choose to join us throughout the next couple of days for your Titans draft coverage, as we like to think we put a lot of good content out here, and we want to show it off to you this weekend. So hope you are subscribed and hope you have those notifications turned on as well, so that when we post a video, you are notified. You can watch it right away. We do appreciate you hanging out with us, and for now, Titans fans, tighten up and peace out.